Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Welcome to G.I. Joe Network. Thank you very much for being here. Yo, Joe. You know what's cool? I had about a 25-minute long conversation with one of my students today about Transformers. He likes it more than me. And he even collects the 1984 Transformers that I grew up with. We're talking about a 16-year-old student. It was freaking awesome. He immediately became my favorite student ever. So anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for being here at your Rachel Zegler Network. Hey to John Graber. Venger is also here in the house. Rogue Sarge is here with us. Matt Rissman is laughing in the background. Debbie Young, hello, EBN friends. Rogue Sarge with a big $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Bobby. Can't wait to see you pop in tonight and talk about all things Andor, this last arc. I'm not going to say very much about it. I don't think Rissman's going to say very much about it. We're going to wait until the pop-ins happen. I think we have some happy Star Wars fans this week. That doesn't happen very often. So this will be nice. Let's see. Disinferno. I've enjoyed Tales of the Empire more than Tales of the Underworld, to be honest. We're going to talk a little bit about Tales of the Underworld as well, but I totally understand that. Disinferno. Dan Grissom, good to see you, brother. Felix Quiros is also here in the house with us. Great to see you. Our old friend and member, Green Lantern 345. What is going on? Legion of Maul is here. What up, Coach Nick and chat? We also have with us, I already said Debbie Young, but I'm going to say it again. Venger, did you get my message? She said it in all caps, Venger. I would make sure I answered the lady. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? She's one of them Midwesterners over here, and they do not play. She is a redhead, too, by the way. Mattaween, good to see you, brother. What is going on? T-Rex 007. Hail to you, my brother. Good to see you as well. Let's see. Lombardi 1969 coming to us all the way from Wisconsin. Good to see you, my brother. Ted's Nerd World. What is up, Ted? Hope you get to pop in tonight and tell us how much you loved Andor, this third arc that we just got. Angelina Serini is also with us. Great to see you, Angelina. Hope you are doing well. And we have Nolan Keck, more than meets the eye. Amen, brother. Sinister Sid Official, what's up, brother? It has been a minute. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. Let's see. Who else do we also got? John Riley is with us. Andrew Wall is with us. Where is Nicholas? It's a 0 out of 10, Glenn. Great question, Andrew. No clue. He is not here. He is not in the background. I have not heard from him. And it's just a typical day at EBN is all that is. So that is how we operate. He'll come in and be like, oh, my car ran out of gas and there was a tornado go right down the street and it stopped and it said, what up, EBN? And I just had an email and I got stuck in work traffic and a cloud came down from the sky and blocked my vision. But I'm here. You know, that's typical Nick fashion right there. Let's see here. Shrike 1988. Has Andor saved Star Wars yet? With 3 question marks. You're so funny, Shrike. You're such a simp, Shrike. You're such a simp. You're a Disney simp. That's what you are. Let's see here. I believe I just about got everybody. Sinister Sid Official with a big $1.99 super chat. Long time no see. I've been busy, but still watching. Great. I'm very happy to hear that. We also have the wonderful Star Wars Mom. I'm here. Love you, Star Wars Mom. You are the best. Knee pain. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight. Found a new fence and having the time of my life right now. Fence Riders 2026. Let's go. You the man, Knee pain. Appreciate you, brother. Jim S. How does someone let their work control their life so much? I mean, he is on the clock working while we have this show. He doesn't start work until 3 in the afternoon, which is why he doesn't get up until 2:59 in the afternoon. Just want to throw that out there. He might be a vampire. Let's see here. Mr. Dexter Kane. Hello, EBN. Just finished watching episodes 7, 8, and 9. I have to say, whoa. That is awesome. I think a lot of people are woeing right now. Vincent Breeden, aloha. Great to see you. Crime fence or literal fence? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Chad Admiral Thrawn has joined the member fold here again at EBN. Great to have you, brother. That is awesome. Great. Hey, look. I still can do it. New members. Okay. I might be too excited to be here. Maybe. All right, everybody. That is going to catch us up. Thank everybody for Bobby, the $20 super chat. My goodness, you are the man. Thank you for your support. Sinister Sid Official with a $1.99 super chat. And last but not least, Chad Admiral Thrawn has joined the member family here. Going to play this for you, bring in Rissman, and we're going to see what happens. Who knows? Who knows? Thank you, Ghetto Streamlabs, for the compliment of my Sergeant Slaughter Toxic Man t-shirt. I appreciate that very much. This is a one of one in the world, designed by me, and the store was deleted by the people that we did it with. And yeah, this is the only Sergeant Slaughter tee you will ever see like this, and it happens to be mine, created by me, designed fully. Okay, well, let's bring him in. Is Rissman drinking tonight? I could say no.
No.
I could tell just like that. All I got to do is look at him for half a second, and I can tell.
And Coach, one thing about your shirt, No matter how many merch stores we've ever had, you've always been the best customer. Always been the best customer.
Yes, I buy my own crap. Yes. By the way, that is like, just so everybody knows, and if you ever bought a t-shirt from our channel, I appreciate it. I worked very hard on those 3 stores that have all been deleted due to content copyright protection. But anyways, I created shirts for me, like Han Solo. I do it for me. Okay? And I designed the shirts for me because I got them cheap. Because I designed it in our store.
Yes.
So I was like thinking of every t-shirt I ever wanted to have. What would I like? Sergeant Slaughter. I would like a green Sergeant Slaughter. Make it so. And then I made this shirt and I ordered it. And that's, and some other people, very few of you, bought some shirts designed by me as well. You did. Mm-hmm. I could always design a shirt. All I got to do is make some bad shirt and you're going to buy it. If it's Empire or Cobra or Megatron, you're buying it,
mm-hmm.
But anyways, hey, awesome. What a busy week we've had with Star Wars. There's been a lot of things happening, but it's all about to get very quiet for a while.
Yes.
So I hope that you guys have been enjoying the Star Wars coverage, and I hope that you've found some enjoyment watching some of these shows. We're going to talk about that for sure. But, going back to last week with Revenge of the Sith, that was awesome. And then, we're right in the middle of Andor. And then on May the 4th, we got the whole Tales of the Underworld, which it was okay. I thought that the Cad Bane, we're going to talk more about it, but
I even updated the show notes on this topic, by the way.
Oh, no, you did not.
Yes, I did.
No. Yes, I did. Well, hey, as always, there are 4 ways that you could support us here on the channel. You could watch our Rachel Zegler content. You could watch our Snow White coverage. You could watch our Rachel Zegler Snow White coverage, or you could watch our reaction to the Rachel Zegler Snow White coverage. And Rissman loves it. Okay. That's what Rissman does to me, by the way. Like, he'll go into the show notes and, like, put little things in there to mess with me. But when I read that one, boy, did I laugh.
I switched it back, and you still remembered it.
Well, I've said it so many times now. Yeah, it was, So, Tales of the Underworld. Let's just kind of start there. May the 4th. I got up early. It was Sunday morning. It was Sunday morning, right?
Well, yeah, and I was texting with you because they surprised us. They released these things midnight local time for all local times,
yeah,
as opposed to picking a time, right? So when I heard it was out in the UK, I VPN'd in and I watched it early. You're like, "Is it out already?" I was like, "Well, yeah. I kind of cheated."
You did cheat, but watching it, I gotta say that the Cad Bane episodes were literally heartbreaking.
Colby. The cheese episodes.
Yeah, the cheese episodes. If you watch those, I'm not saying that they were bad by any means. I'm not saying that they were bad. But they were heartbreaking, and it was kind of weird to watch that on a day of Star Wars celebration. There was nothing to celebrate in that arc at all with the Cad Bane. So, what did you think about the other one?
So my general opinion. Let me preface. I liked the Asajj episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit tired of, we just keep going back to tell the same stories, right? She found a Padawan. Of course, they threw the path in on this one just to make it, I guess, a little bit more semi-relevant or whatever. But you know what I mean? She finds a Padawan. Padawan sticks with her. Now they're a thing. I liked the way they portrayed her. I liked how they tied in Dark Disciple and some of the rest of it. I thought that was good. I liked the fact that the 3 episodes were contiguous. Neither story was a story I needed to see, to tell you the truth. So
I agree.
I appreciated the animation, and I mean the thought that went behind it. And every time we see these, they just look a little cooler, and you can tell they're perfecting, how they animate. But I was just kind of like, okay, sure. And I agree with you. The Cad Bane stuff was just, I was like, okay, they went there.
That was a tough one to swallow. It really was. There was some really heartbreak. I like Cad Bane, and he is supposed to be a bad guy. And by God, they got that right. He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
To the core.
Yeah.
So they got that right. It would have been better, I think, to play the Cad Bane one first and the Asajj Ventress one second to end on the little lightheartedness, maybe. Because to end it on Cad Bane's story, it was depressing.
So while, as I just said, I enjoyed the fact that they left him as three contiguous, this is sort of an argument for saying if they had intermixed the stories like they did before, episode of one and episode of the other,
Right.
maybe then that Cad Bane stuff wouldn't have been so heavy if you juxtaposed it with the last episode of the Asajj arc, you know what I mean?
Right.
Which was kind of uplifting and happy. And then the last episode of his was kind of, downtrodden, and, you realize what was going on and all that. So again, as much as I'm like, well, you could just enjoy the first three or the last three. Now I'm kind of like on your point. Maybe they should have just done it the old fashioned way and mixed them up.
Right. By the way, I agree with Legion of Maul here. I don't want or need everybody's backstory.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like we're lazy creatively. So let's just, instead of creating something new, let's just tell this character's backstory.
Well, and I think the article that we may touch on, if you want to bring it up now, we can. Also talks
might as well.
Might as well, right? Because the article goes on to say, in this person's opinion, that even the stories that Filoni keeps telling are getting a little bit tired now from a trope perspective, right? In so much as, we have this, again, we have the Padawan, we have the samurai, Kurosawa samurai Padawan business that he likes, and then we go back, with the lone gunman, right? The Western, serial Western, put him up, I'm going to get you. Again, how much,
they're saying they're getting tired of that. They're getting tired of Dave Filoni storytelling because it is very repetitive. There's no doubt about that.
And it continues to focus on his favorite characters for whom we've seen a lot of already, and we'll talk about the Maul show here a little bit later. Also, I'm like, how much more do we need to hear from these folks? And yet, some people are like, yeah, we're here getting more Cad Bane. Yeah, we're getting more Maul. Yada yada yada. And I'm kind of like, Lord help, is there no other characters we can talk about?
Yeah. Is it safe to say that Dave Filoni is like, I'm not making Star Wars for the fans. I'm making things I like to make. I like things that I like.
He's making his T-shirts, right? He's making his T-shirts and hoping that other people buy them.
Oh.
Well, yeah, that's a hot take. Maybe it's not so hot. Maybe it's not such a hot take.
Reach the limits of his creativity. That is not a bad thought right there. I mean, and you know what? I ain't trying to get all knee deep, no pun intended, in that. But the person that just chatted that would know far better than any of the rest of us.
Yeah.
So that's, wow. We could let's make a video about that.
Well, because if you think about the rumors on Ahsoka season 2, leaning very heavily into Clone Wars arcs and his favorite things about Mortis and the world between worlds and all of his favorite things from Clone Wars and Rebels, I think it just supports what Nipane was saying there even further. And that's not, that's not to say he can't do those things well. It just begs the question, who exactly is hoping to see that depicted other than Dave Filoni, in the hopes that it will also obviously appeal to others as well, clearly. But you know what I mean? That's kind of seems like where we're at.
That is where we're at. And to further that, Matt Ween with the member chat, the kid with Asajj is named Lyko, the Greek root word for wolf, typical Filoni, or as Matt Ween says, Finloni. He just can't help himself. We know what you meant, Tatooine. I'm just picking with you. Yeah, I agree. It has to be. It's either going to be all of this or witches. That's where we are.
Well, and it's so funny on the same point. Recently, someone cornered Katie Sackhoff about her comments about Bo-Katan and the fact that she and Mando and Grogu, and you said you did ever award the armor in 2025, but Mando and Grogu start filming in 2024, and she's like, "Really?" And they're like, "Come on, will we ever see Bo-Katan again?" And she goes, "Listen, the character's based on Dave Filoni's wife." She said, "You can guarantee you'll see her again." She said, Bo-Katan, you will see her again in some form in the future. So speculation, maybe she'll be animated in the mall show or whatever. But on the point of, Filoni's favorite things, you can put Bo-Katan on that list.
Well, she might be on a lot of our lists.
Well, Katie is certainly right, but the character of Bo-Katan, is a different story.
As played by Katie.
Correct.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jedi Master Lawrence. By the way, I'm going to hit the super chat and member chats here, but Grandmasters and Jedi Master members, get yourselves ready because you're joining with pop-ins where we could talk about these things and go round table and kind of hone in on Andor. We'll kind of introduce Andor ourselves for a brief moment, and then we're going to open it up to pop-ins. I need as many of you guys coming in tonight as possible to come in here and talk about it with us. So you don't want to just hear Risman hate on it because that's all he's going to do. So anyways, yeah, we'll see about that. Jedi Master Lawrence with a $2 super chat. So was Cassian's sister a red herring or what? At this point, yes.
It's kind of funny because they really, in a way, told us more about Uncle Harlow now than they really have Cassian's sister. At least, unless
we haven't even seen Uncle Harlow.
No, and I don't think at this point we will, right? But
somebody says it's Palpatine.
No, because remember, Dedra said to Cyril's mom, and by the way, I've seen his record. I pulled his ISB file. You shouldn't be loving on. You shouldn't be putting him out there as some great something. So I think he was just a gangster of some kind or whatever. But on this point, of course, we have 3 more episodes, and I think part of an episode is kind of like an epilogue-ish. Will they ever mention his sister again? I tend to think not.
Yeah. I hear you. Jedi Master Lawrence, thank you for that. Felix Kiros, whoa, 49 months with EBN, episode 7, 8, and 9 of Andor Season 2, are peak Star Wars storytelling. The tension is razor sharp as Cassian gets pulled deeper into the rebellion and the Empire's brutality is on full display. May the Force be with you. Great thoughts from Felix. Felix, I hope you're able to pop in tonight. I don't know if you're watching the Celtics or not. I don't think they play tonight. But hope that you could pop in and talk some Andor live with us. Veritech 2000 with a member chat. Will you be getting the attempted SA Andor Lego set or the Lesbo Kissing Andor Lego set? What an absolute embarrassment of a show. I don't think they're going to make those Lego sets, but hey, you never know. Debbie Young.
And just before we leave that comment, right? I mean, I know those are great talking points, but to dilute the show down to those 2 moments, I mean, I think it's a huge disservice to everyone who's worked on the show, and of course, I think what the show was really trying to show us.
Yeah.
So that's just not my cup of tea.
Well, I'm with you, and those scenes aren't my cup of tea. Those scenes are not my cup of tea.
Well, I mean, and they left off drug use, now choking, further. I mean, there are other things besides those. If we want to get on our outrage high horse, right, we can add genocide of a whole person, of a whole people, right? We can add the choking, we can add the drug use. I mean, so again, those are sound bites, I think, that tell a part of a larger story.
They are, and I just roll right through it, and just keep going. So, but yeah, I get it. Debbie Young, member for 50 months. Well, we better find out how many Bothans died. 50 months, how time flies. Love you, Mama Bear. You are the best. And let's see, the Seaman. Member for 27 months. Personally, I'll take Tony Gilroy's characters over Filoni's. Gilroy's feel real. Filoni's are cartoons, literally. I do not disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
And somehow it seems like he's managed to remove depth from Rebels characters, right? I feel like the Rebels characters were deeper in Rebels than the way they've been portrayed in Ahsoka for me. And then so I don't know, how do you go backwards? I guess he did somehow. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. Let's see here. So that was Tales of the Underworld, and with the 2-episode arcs that we got there. We also have, my Google Chrome is freaking out right now. Star Wars Visions. Just real quick, season 3 will be upon us in October, I believe.
Yep.
They have announced a spin-off series that the episodes are going to be a little bit longer, and they're going to be continuing one of the arcs that they presented in the first season of
the favorite one with the Dark Jedi and the droid.
Yep. So that Dark Jedi will be back in going to have some longer episodes. So if that is your kind of thing, that is definitely coming. It's going to be volume 3. Go ahead.
Yep. No, I said I put this in here specifically because you were like, well, what else comes out this year? Like, if you want one other thing,
exactly.
So this year it's this Visions volume 3 will close us out for new Star Wars content, unless they surprise us with something, which I doubt.
It's very unlikely, I think. I think this article right here is the best bet. And we might not get all of these things in 2026 either. But these are the things that we know that are in production, that are on the way. Maul Shadow Lord, you could be looking forward to that in 2026. You can be looking forward to Visions, the Ninth Jedi spinoff series. You could be looking forward to, if you dare, Ahsoka Season 2, which I hated the first season, and I am looking forward to reviewing it and watching it again.
It's funny.
And we will be bringing back the live streams post-watching when we get there.
Oh, I hope they don't put it back to the 3 a.m. nonsense, but it's funny that you mentioned this. I've spoken, just a few people that are having the same boat as you and I, and they're like, well, Ahsoka Season 1 wasn't all that we thought it could be, but they are interested in tuning into Ahsoka Season 2 and seeing what they do. Got to tell you, if he goes all crazy on Mortis Gods and Abeloth and all this stuff, I don't know. I think he's going to lose a lot of people unless he really stepped up his writing chops somehow, but we'll see. Apparently, they filmed the first week. Filming has gone on. Apparently, Ezra has a big fight scene in the first episode. Whatever Rosario was filming in her first week, she got all beat up from a fight that she was in. So I do think, for what it's worth, there's going to be some action early on in both galaxies. So we'll see.
Right. Well, yeah. And I am looking forward to seeing that show. Now, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out May 2026 is the intended date there. So we'll see about that. And that'll be just 1 year before the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. So I'll be very interested to see what happens when we get to that 50th anniversary. Now, as far as Andor goes, you put this article in the show notes today. Andor's pulled in over $300 million in subscriber revenue for Disney Plus. I remember seeing this article when it first dropped. They're using what metric here? I can't remember.
They're back on that again. So either you use it or you don't use it. So a lot of people, it's either the Samba or it's one of those, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those that's on interactions, and they translated it somehow into dollars revenue. I think the point that this article is making, again,
Parrot Analytics.
Parrot, there you go. If you believe Parrot or not, what they're basically saying here is...
I'm more of a Sparrow guy myself.
Oh, aren't we all? What they're basically saying here is that Andor has been more profitable for them from a subscriber's perspective, based upon how they put together a bunch of their different, engagement analytics to measure these things. And I think what they compared it against Ahsoka and maybe Book of Boba Fett. And so I don't know. I thought this was interesting. The problem is, can you believe any of these analytics? whether
No,
it's
you
Barrett,
cannot.
whether it's Samba, whether it's
You're telling me that Andor has led to a huge influx in subscriptions for Disney Plus? I don't believe that for a second.
yeah, it's even if you think about it over time and word of mouth and yada yada yada. Um, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting factoid, if you can call it a factoid. Um, whether we think it made the money or not, they decided they were going to spend $650 million plus on these 2 seasons and put it out there. It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So, yes, we can't really necessarily use those. You can't believe anything when it comes to the success of a show when it's involving Disney, because they hide everything. You check out that Tron wallpaper, y'all.
I like it.
Isn't that awesome? So, we'll never know the truth of it all, but it stands to reason, just based on social media comments, videos about it. Andor had a great week last week, but it is not driving subscriptions for Disney Plus. I mean, that would be such a minuscule number if they have even grown during that time. They might not have grown at all. Go ahead.
They, through whatever funny numbers they're putting out, they said they got 1.4 million additional Disney Plus subscriptions. They just had their earnings calls, right, where they announced a whole bunch of things in addition to a theme park in Abu Dhabi, of all places. We won't go into all that, but they claim that their streaming platform is healthy compared to what, I don't know. But do I think Andor was a contributor to that? I mean, remember, it's been a minute since Andor season 1 was out. This show was made 2 years ago and held. Well, the writing was over 2 years ago, and then the writer's strike and all that stuff happened. But regardless, it's been sitting around for a minute. So I don't know how you monetize all that. Do I think Andor was more popular than Ahsoka? Really? I don't know, right? Ahsoka had that tremendous drop off. Do you remember? It was like at the end there, we were the only ones watching it.
Yeah. Massive drop off.
And that's almost not hyperbole, right? I mean, literally, I think we were the only ones basically still talking about it.
Yeah. So. They got tired of watching her run, son. Okay.
She wasn't running very fast.
It was not fast enough. Donna Hergenrether has gifted 5 EBN memberships. Thank you so much, Donna, and welcome aboard to the new members. Please give lovely Donna a big thank you if you received one of those memberships. Also, T-Rex007 has also gifted 1 Echo Base Network membership, so give him a thank you if you received that one. And he also did a member chat. I pray Lucasfilm's Bold
sold before the 50th.
Oh, okay. Got it.
To a good steward.
Got it. Before the 50th to a good steward. Yep. That's a good thought there. That's a good thought. That would be fantastic. I have members in the background. It is time to talk about Andor. So, Risman, before I bring them in, why don't you tell us your thoughts on Andor this past week?
Yeah, so I mean, I think, episodes 7 through 9 were what I was hoping to get for pretty much this whole season. And I mean, again, they set a tremendously high, for those of us who really enjoyed Andor season 1, they set a very high bar for themselves on season 2. And I measure everything against the Narkina 5 No Way Out set of episodes, right? With the writing and the tension and all of that. And I will say, for me, episodes 7 through 9 probably eclipse just slightly those episodes, which I've said routinely that I feel like almost represents perfect television, putting aside Star Wars or no, just great television. So I was very happy that we did get finally something that looked like the people were saying, this is the best thing I've ever seen, yada, 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 which the first 6 episodes for me were not. So I liked what they did. I liked what they did. Well, it's hard to say I like what they did in episode 8. They killed everyone, right? So I mean, it's a little bit difficult to rave on a genocide, but the way they depicted it, I thought, was very realistic. And then, of course, episode 9 with Mon Mothma and all that stuff that happened, I thought they nailed it. Will they continue that in the next few episodes? Probably not. because I think it'll be, again, very hard for them to keep that caliber up. These were written by Dan Gilroy, and I forget who directed, and Tony did help Dan with some of the things that went on there. I could see where the money was. The money was on the screen. So for me, it was as close to perfect as it gets, actually. So I was a happy camper this week.
You were very happy. And out of 10, I know your number.
Yeah, I give this probably about a 9.5. Right? I really
I think that's the highest number I've ever heard you give anything.
Narkina 5 is about the same. They're very close to being, for me, perfect. The Narkina 5 had some stuff in episode 10 with all those monologues and some of the rest of it. So yeah, I like this a lot. I wish the quality was this all the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's fence riders. Get it right.
Homie knee pain sits. We ride.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring them in. Call out to all Grandmasters and Jedi Masters. It is time for pop-ins. If I could just find the cool little intro that I
know where it is. It's under my big head.
All those years ago.
It's under Rispin Base Network. I got it because I looked for it earlier. It's under my big head.
It's not for me.
It's under
I see.
No,
I see
3.0.
I see it. Yeah. We have way too many videos in here.
There are a lot of them there. We should probably take some off.
I just get lost. All right, it is time to bring them in. Ladies first, Mama Bear and Donna Hergenrether. And we also have with us Rogue Sarge, Star Wars Theology, and Mattuine. Boy, this is feeling like some classic EBN.
Where's John Graber?
It is.
Where's John Graber?
He hasn't found his step stool yet, son.
Maybe he fell off the way.
Yeah. All right. So, look, Risman gave it a 9.5. We're going to go round.
You didn't give it nothing yet, though, Coach. Are you waiting till the end?
Why did you do this?
Because I want to hear you say it.
I gotta hear it.
You say it.
You already heard it, Bobby. You
Well,
already
haven't-
did this to me.
They haven't
So,
heard it.
all right. When I watched the episodes, I fell asleep halfway through episode 8. It had nothing to do with the show. I was exhausted. And I mean, I would have fell asleep watching anything. So I wake up and I go back and started watching again. I knew what I was watching was good. I definitely understand the tension and the portrayal, the acting job by, the people and the writing, if you want to praise the writing. You definitely felt the tension. Mon Mothma had great moments, her character, in these 3 episodes, especially the last 2 episodes. But when I see people's comments and I hear Risman say, whose opinion I value, by the way, and agree with more times than not, so many of my friends and people's opinions that I value, like people in this chat right now, when I see you say something like, this is some of the best TV I've seen, this is the best Star Wars I have seen since the Disney purchase, I'm not there. And it made me wonder, is something wrong with me? I don't think there is.
No.
I don't think there is. It's just, I like it. I wouldn't say that I love it. I've not gone back and watched it. Now, Risman watched it 4 times in 24 hours.
Well, and one of the times was to put it on Patreon. But yes, I did watch it 3 other times.
So at least 3 times in 24 hours. I'm not now. There's nothing about it that I just despise, hate, think's terrible. It's a good, solid story, and it did get cranked up a little bit. I'm a little disappointed that we got as little K2SO as we got, and out of the entire run of the show, we're getting him at the very end. And I kind of hate that part. Hopefully, there's a big payoff there. I really hope so. But anyways, that's me. If I have to give it a number, I'm gonna say I told Risman 7 out of 10 just to be funny because that's my default. If you guys hadn't noticed, I give
We are
everything a
7 out
7.
of 10.
Yeah. I'll give it a 7.75.
That's good. That's good.
I can't quite go 8, but it's close.
Awesome.
Is that
So,
for all 3
maybe
episodes?
For all 3 episodes. Maybe I'm just jaded. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a tired old teacher that needs summer to get here, and I might like it more. I'm at the end of the school year, and I'm struggling, y'all. Like I'm
Yeah,
tired.
you are getting close. You are getting real close now.
Yep. So that's me, Risman. If you want to CEO this
I do.
discussion, and I'm here with you.
All right. Well, Mama Bear, I think I saw you were one of the first. We'll go Mama Bear first, and then we'll go Donna second. So what'd you think, Mama Bear?
I gave it a 9.5 also because I'm hoping the next 3 are a 10. Not that I was not disappointed at all. For the first time in a long time, I felt really good about watching something. And that had to do with Star Wars. And it just made me happy. It was the quality for me of the movie Rogue One, which I really, really enjoyed. And the acting was fantastic. The writing was very good and succinct, and how the editing, putting things together, much better than in the first couple episodes because there was so many so fast. And I was glad to see Bix, at least that we know of, not get killed off. Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh, it's okay. It's been a few days. Like we're good.
I think everyone who was going to watch it has watched it by now, so we're probably safe.
I mean, with so many people joining Disney Plus, I mean, there's no spoiling this.
I know a place they can watch it for $5, Coach. I know a really good place where they can watch it for $5.
Yeah. Risman has been picking up the slack since Nick's out of town, posting onto our Patreon, and we appreciate that very much. By the way, Staccato DDS just gifted 10 Echo-based network memberships. Incredibly generous. Thank you all for the gifted memberships, and thank you to Staccato DDS. We appreciate you, brother. You are the man. And we also have Sosa Penitence, $300, $2, still supporting. Sorry, I got hurt and couldn't more. Oh, brother, don't worry, man. Thank you so much. That means a ton. So we really appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, I'm out of the way now. Keep this thing rolling.
No worries.
Mama Bear, anything else about Andor? You're excited going into next week? Are you a little sad that it's about to be over?
Yes. Now I'm really wishing, maybe, but they can only carry it so far because we all know what happens because of Rogue One. So this is actually prequels that I really like.
Yeah. Do you guys think that we see Bix again?
We will.
I don't think so.
Probably.
Who knows?
We
Probably.
Yeah. Think so.
I think they did a really good job.
Yep. Got to show her pregnant with baby Poe Dameron.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just show the baby.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What did I tell you, Coach? What did I tell you? Is there another reason why she might have left when she did?
That's true.
Well,
very.
Told mother was Shara Bay.
It's just a theory, but
They can
there's
change it.
That's a
but when
good
you
one, though.
watch it slowly, you can see her patting her belly a few times.
So you're telling me
She could have had
It's
gas
just a
on her.
theory.
Cassian is Poe Dameron's father?
Poe Dameron.
No, that's just me talking crap.
No, he has nothing to do with
He wasn't
Poe Dameron.
No, they had
You're saying
a
Bix is
panel.
pregnant with Poe Dameron?
No, Poe Dameron has nothing. Who said Poe Dameron?
Bix's last name is Dameron. Didn't you know that?
Poe Dameron has nothing to do with this story.
Bix's right grandmom.
Oh my God.
No,
I'm so confused. Oh,
There is no Poe
my
Dameron.
gosh.
Poe Dameron's mother was
Oh.
named Shara Bay.
Yeah,
I-
he was
I-
conceived after Return of the Jedi.
Zombie Box Reviews
That
gives it
Ewok
6
party.
imaginary birds out of 10. That's funny. All right. Okay, sorry. I was seriously about to have a problem with that. Anyways.
Well, the Poe
One-
Dameron part may not be. The Poe Dameron part is not true.
No, it's not.
The fact that she is pregnant and the rest of it may very well be true.
Yeah.
And obviously Cassian would be the father.
I
And,
could see
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
that would
And he
be
did-
that would
But
be an
what
even,
if there is no father?
that'd be a deep
No,
Oh,
no,
no,
no.
don't start that.
Okay.
No.
Had to. Okay.
shame.
Donna
one more.
Faye.
One more thing, and then
All right.
Donna can take over.
All right.
And and by the way, we are going to have to. We've got 2 people in the background, so we are going to have to pop out.
That's fine.
And then pop them in.
Hey, Nick was in the background and he all of a sudden vanished.
I know, and I hated to do it, but I brought the
Yeah, you gotta
members
work
in
home.
because I knew we only had 10 spots.
Everybody already knows the number he's going to give, anyways,
Yeah.
for something he didn't even watch. So, like, we're good.
But in respect to Nick,
0 out of 10.
he was back there. He was.
Yeah,
back.
for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling and telling me you weren't going to be here, Nick. You jackass. All right, here we go.
Anyway, the last thing I want to say is it gives me a little light of fire, just a little ember, that maybe things will be getting better. That's my hope.
I
for
got you.
what we got coming. I mean, this really energized me more than I thought. I actually, kind of had tears in my eyes at the end there, and that hasn't happened in a long time.
Really? That's somewhat surprising.
Yep.
And the only
Okay.
well, the
Well,
only
I'm
thing we have,
glad.
the only thing we have coming is Ahsoka season 2. So
Right. Well, I'm talking about the movie as well.
Mando and
I'm
Grogu.
I'm talking about that. Hopefully that'll do well too. So, all right, I will go out. Everybody, I'll be listening. Donna, you tell them what you got there, girl.
Okay.
Great to see you, Debbie.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Deb.
Hey,
Bye.
you know what we need to
Bye-bye.
do? We need to start doing this. We need to start before somebody goes, like Donna's next. We all need, because we all know each other really well. We all need to guess what that person gave it before they start talking.
Oh, what their score is going to be?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Donna, what do y'all think?
7.
9.5.
I'm going to
8.
go, I think she gave it what I gave it. I'm going to go 7.75. Close to an 8, but not quite there.
Close. I
Anybody
put it at
else?
7.5.
Oh, well, we don't.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
7.5.
Okay.
No?
And I will tell you why.
Closest without going over.
I will
Yeah.
tell you why. As a standalone show, or if it wasn't Star Wars, I would give it higher. But I don't yell at me because I know you guys are going to yell at me on this.
No, we're not.
The one thing that I love about Star Wars is the cheese, the quirk, the Nerf herders and blah blah blah. I don't know why, but that's Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
Lightsabers are Star Wars to me. They're sitting there trying to get rid of all these people off this planet so that they can get to the Kyber in the center of it, and nobody's talking about it. So it's like I feel like we're seeing, you have to be a real Star Wars person to understand that why that planet. And I've been watching people's stuff. Why can't they just mine on the and let the people, do their tailoring? Well, because it's Kyber, right?
It's
Why the only one?
you're got the right. What you're saying, I agree with. It's called calcite. But
Yeah.
what they said at the beginning was as soon as they start mining, because of how deep it is, it could destabilize the planet.
Right.
And so the issue is and I don't know that I agree with this, they could certainly have resettled the people, right? But their thought process was, if we're going to destabilize the planet and they're not going to make it anyway, let's just get rid of them.
Right. So I think, because I know they called it something else but a rock in the thing. We all know it's to power the we know it's kyber crystals, right? Or I'm assuming. I guess that's
it's this calcite. They're going to use it for the
lenses. Yeah,
to
lenses
power
of
the
the
Death Star. It's going to be used in the Death Star reactor, is what they led us to believe.
Yes, and which is if you watch other stuff, that's how it was. The reactors work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I feel like they put heart into it. I really, really like it. But it's still, don't yell at me, but it's still missing that Star Wars spark for me. It just is, and
that's fair.
It's a good story. It takes. The first season, everybody knows I didn't care for it much because it was just so freaking boring. And now, I mean, the last 3 were pretty good on it. They had some really good scenes in there, and I really enjoyed it. But it was totally a 6 out of 10 for me. Mm-hmm. Now this one, it's better storytelling, but I was bored the first three. I was so bored. I think last week's, that was pretty interesting. I liked it. This week, of course, I loved it. Now as episodes go, if you want to hear about, I think that episode 9, Standing Alone, is a 9 out of 10. Mm-hmm. That one felt and there's something about the music I just can't stand. I can't stand the music. It just sounds off. It just doesn't sound right. And so I'm a little out of left field. Don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait for next week. And I just got done watching it for the second time with my daughter this evening. And I mean, I love it. It's just, and Cyril and what's her name?
Dedra.
Now, and it was the best love story out of all of it.
It was something.
It was something.
And then you have to admit that when you break it down to certain people's doing monologues, they've knocked all those monologues out of the park. Like last week when what is her name? Vel did her speech, and then you had it. I just think that's, and the lady that plays Mon Mothma, I think she is just fantastic. Mm-hmm. She's fantastic. But anyway, I digress. Thank you. I'm done.
Well, that is awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you don't know what Bobby already gave it, what do y'all think he's going to give it? I read his comments, so I know what he thought.
I'd say 9.
9 to me, I think.
Anybody else want to guess there? I bet it's
3.
I bet it's higher than 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's going to be 9 point something. All right, Bobby.
Yep.
The floor is yours, sir.
9.5. The episode, they weren't perfect. But it took a while for the tension to build up. But when it did, when everything popped off, it was like, wow. And, and they just kept that up, especially, of course, leading up to the massacre, which was, that was really something. And then just leading up to like Mon Mothma's speech.
Okay. I just want, you just put this on my head. I just got to say it, and we're going to let you keep rolling, Bobby.
Yeah.
I'll let Bobby reply to this. This is going to sound terrible. Donna's saying, y'all don't yell at me. Y'all don't yell at me when I say this. When I had to hear the Gormans sing this song that had the same 4 lines to it over and over and over again, I wanted to gouge my eyeballs out. Like, it drove me nuts. Sitting here listening.
Modern music.
What's that?
So it's modern music, basically.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
listen to modern
Well,
music.
like, look at the chants of like protesters these days. They repeat the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
Hey ho, so
And that horn,
go, you know,
that
whatever.
horn. Beep.
Yeah. So
I mean, it was a realistic protest.
Well, I mean,
that horn looked
maybe,
like something
I
out of
guess.
Dr. Seuss.
You know.
It was. Well, you know what? At least they didn't have a metal detector right out of Target. You know, they at least got a little creative with the sound and design.
Man, we ain't found nothing.
I liked that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
At least they were a little creative in the design. Give them points for that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't mind the casting switch for Bail Organa. I think Benjamin Bratt is a hell of an actor, and he really nailed the role of Bail Organa with the mannerisms, the speech,
The swearing.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, he said shit. Fantastic job, and yeah, and then like just the tender with the rescue of, you know, Cassian trying to escort Mon Mothma out of the Senate.
That was a great moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was really well
and
done.
then for pretty much his world to come crashing down when he got back to Yavin.
Bobby, do you like the ease in which Cassian murders people right in front of Mon Mothma's face? Like, it is no sweat off of his back at all. He's doing what has to be done.
And then, you know, hey, he says, well,
welcome
to
to
the rebellion.
rebellion.
So
the driver was the best. She's like, "That's my driver." He's like, "Can he help?" She's like, "No, he's an ISB plant." He's like, "Hey, Cloris," and he just shot him right there.
Murdered him. Yeah.
Well, it's like it's all leading up to
Rogue One.
in Rogue One when he says we've all done terrible things for the rebellion.
Yeah, well, what was the first thing he did when we were introduced to him in Rogue One? He killed the guy.
He killed a guy. Yep. Same thing in the first episode of season 1 of Andor. He killed one of those security guys.
Yeah, where'd that story get lead to?
But that's the reality of war.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm
trust me, I know war is a horrible thing, and you've got to do what you have to do.
Makes people do stuff that they don't want to do.
I feel that they had a real missed opportunity in this episode. Bail Organa, after the attempted genocide at Gorman, Bail Organa should have had a line where he says something to the effect of, "I remember I was at the Jedi Temple seeing them getting slaughtered." You know, he could have said something as a callback to Order 66 when that happened, because he was around. He's seen this kind of thing
knows? There's
before.
still 3 more episodes where
You're right. Yeah, that's a fair point.
You know,
that's a fair point.
And he said that he was going to meet her.
We see him on Yavin.
Yeah, and he said that he was going to meet Mon Mothma in a year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So altogether, I mean, the production, they're shooting live on location. The costumes, I mean, they should win an award just for the costumes alone, because it's phenomenal costume design. And that town square, that town center, that was a practical set. They built that on a studio backlot. You know, so you can definitely see the money on screen.
Yeah. Well, speaking of seeing the money on screen, the very opening scene for episode 7, when you're at Yavin base, drew me in. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly like it should.
Yeah. That's the first time we've been back to Yavin since 1977.
Yeah. Yep. And Nick, if you're watching, you don't know nothing about it.
So, yeah, I enjoyed the episodes. Looking forward to see how they're going to wrap it all up next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, good points there.
Yep. If you need me to bow out, I can.
As much as I hate to do it, I do need to bring John Graber's Gotten Situated. So someone needs to go so I can.
We got a couple people in the back.
Yep. Take care, and I'll catch you all
Bobby,
later.
thank you, brother. See you.
See you, Sarge.
Bye, see you.
All right, we're getting 2 for the price of 1 here.
I know, right?
Price
Oh,
of one MVP.
Lord. Hello.
Well, but together they kind of are the same size as one coach, so maybe it's one.
Yeah. Whatever, Richmond. That reminds me of something. I'm just gonna say.
Oh. Oh, you don't. You can't do it on this one.
Nope. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute
Oh
you.
my
It
goodness.
wouldn't be the first time, Rissman.
You're not even going.
Won't be the last.
He already
Yeah.
won. He's not-
All right, let's go with Felix. Let's go
Felix.
with Felix next.
I look. I read Felix's comments. Would anybody like to guess what Felix? He's been taking a hard line against Star Wars lately, guys. If anybody needed a win, it was Felix. What do y'all think? Should throw some numbers out there.
He's got that grin on his face.
Felix,
I'm guessing a 6.
I'm going to say Felix. Are we doing this episode in itself?
No, the arc.
Hold on,
7,
hold
8,
on.
9.
The arc.
Okay, the arc. The 3 episodes.
Together.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
that's
3,
what arc
7,
means.
8, and 9. Yeah.
I'm going to say Felix says 7.
7.
That's safe.
No, I'm gonna say at least 8.5.
So Rissman's not in. Rissman is not in our group on.
Yeah, I don't Facebook.
Our
so.
Facebook group. So I saw his comments. So go ahead, Felix.
Yes, I gave this arc 7, 8, and 9. I gave it a 9.
Oh.
And the reason, yes, I didn't. I was kind of a little bit disappointed with the first 6, but this right here is getting towards our end goal. That is Andor, and eventually, Star Wars. And there was a lot of stuff that happened there. I like a lot of the military aspects of Star Wars. Besides lightsabers, you guys know that I like lightsabers. I like the Force, but there's a lot of other stuff. The military concepts. The X-wings, the TIE fighters, the officers, the rebels, and we can see the rebellion forming. It's taking shape, and we can see the sacrifices that both sides are making to follow orders. I don't know. You notice that one of the same officers, that sniper, hit one of the Imperial officers down there on purpose, just to start the whole thing. That's how evil these guys are. These guys, they portray the Empire as basically, the Germany of the World War II era. And then basically you see the Gormans as the French. So if you see, they portray
French
really good.
in World War II era.
World War II
Germany
era.
rolling right through there.
Yes, it just like wow, they took elements from real life, but they put in showing it in Star Wars. You see the brutality of war. That I love the Gorman's massacre. How how it was pure brutality, and I was excited about that. I was excited about Jabbing 4, seeing Jabbing 4 again. Something that not a lot of people probably pay attention, but the Force was in this episode because we saw the Force healers that were normal people, and this goes back to the original trilogy, how Yoda was explaining the Force, that it's in all living things. So you can see that normal people, they don't need to be Jedi, but they have some, attachment to the Force. In this case, the Force healers, and they can see the value of Cassian. I appreciate Cassian more now because without him, they don't get the plans, and then we don't have the Battle of Yavin because then Luke they don't have the plans to blow out the Death Star. So I was very excited. So I'm looking forward to the next 3 episodes and see. Hopefully it's better, and hopefully we see more of 2K K2SO. And I was like you, Coach. I was disappointed that they show only a little bit of it. So hopefully they show more.
We've seen a couple of shots of him in the trailer that we're definitely going to happen in the next arc.
Yeah,
for sure.
He'll make some mischief before it's over.
Yeah, I wonder how they made his personality, because it's just that they turned him on and he just was back to that, kind of like
I'm trying to read
2K personality. So I'm looking forward to the next
They
episode.
sort of explained it. The guy who was tinkering with them, he was like, they say it's reprogramming, but it's really not. You got to tinker around with this, that, and the other. And I think
they
at
swapped
one
out
point,
something, right?
What's that?
They said they swapped out.
Then
personality or
something they swapped out something in the cortex, but
think
they
it's
didn't say
B2.
what they swapped in.
It's B2.
So, well, they left B2 behind, right? So everybody hoped it was going to be something related to B2, and I mean, they left him behind, years ago now, which I still think is kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, that's why they were like, they're still like, well, is it going to work? I'm like, well, you're you're not much of a droid smith if you don't know if it's going to work or not. But
do you think that was the K2S the K2SO unit that was watching Cyril when he went into that holding room? He was constantly looking at him. Everybody else was looking forward, and he had
that's
that.
what people have speculated, that he was
like
the
there's
one.
something off about this one.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the coolest thing they did was, even though I didn't really like the way that the whole Cinta of it all, the whole Cinta business, but the guy who was driving the troop transport that smashed into the KX droid was at least the idiot who ended up killing Cinta in that episode. The guy by the name of Sam, right, with the stray shot. So I mean, at least there was a little something there where they tried to pay that off slightly. So that was kind of cool.
I was nervous that, when the TIE fighters were going up while the fight was going, I was wondering they suddenly you see a TIE bomber, going. You remember, oh, man, I was like really nervous how that poured. So, but
all right, so a 9, awesome.
So I'm gonna step out. So
yeah, and Brandon's got to go. We do have one more person who's been patiently waiting in the back, and Brandon's got to go next because his phone is dying.
Okay.
Great to see you, Felix.
Felix,
Great to
see
see
you
you,
week.
Donna.
see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank
Felix.
y'all.
Bye,
Thank you.
Oh, it is. This is this week.
All right, Brandon, go for it before you die.
Well, everyone, it's always good to see you. And it makes me happy that you guys are enjoying the show. And I give this score a score of 42. When in doubt, 42 is always the right
How's
answer.
42? Yeah, how's 42 happen?
It's the answer to life, the universe,
Yep.
and everything.
Exactly.
Is that like, what was the baseball player? 42. Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, it's also Jackie Robinson's number. But when in doubt, the answer to life is 42. But it does make me feel better that everyone is enjoying this. But my only question is, the amount of money that was dumped into this versus the amount of people that are watching it, does it justify the cost? And the answer is absolutely not.
There's nothing that justifies the cost of what they spent on these two.
Well, of course,
seasons.
because it's Disney. And they're learning the hard way, which, do they ever learn? Does Disney ever learn? There's the old question: if a bear shits in the wood, if no one's around to see it, does it actually happen? It's basically the same thing with Disney. It's Schrodinger's Disney. They're at that point where, as was said earlier in the calls, they're making so little off of so much. Their finances are completely all which ways goofed up, and they're reaping exactly what they're sowing, and I just don't see it ever changing. So, but as far as the show itself, I am glad that everybody's enjoying it. I, of course, am not watching it, hence why I give it the rating of 42. And with that, my phone is beeping at me. So, everybody, you have yourself a wonderful night. It's always good to see you. Peace.
See you, Brandon. Later,
Care,
bud.
Brandon.
All right.
All right, so next should either be Tatooine or Sodak Chopper, whoever wants to go next, because I lost track of who. And then I think it's Ted, and then Darth Maul, and then John Graber, and then if Valiant wants to say anything, which I can't imagine he won't, then it will be Valiant.
Uh-oh. All right.
He's still steaming.
Let's go Tatooine next.
All right, Tatooine.
Oh,
Oh wait, we
I give
guess,
it.
right? We have to guess the score.
69.
No.
That's what I was gonna say.
6.9.
69 home the ABCs.
If you take those two numbers and round them,
8.5.
around.
8.5.
Failed math.
9.6.
Look at my
Say
name.
9.5. Let's just say
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right there with me.
Yeah, and I'll start just by saying, to piggyback off of Brandon, yeah, is the cost to make this worth it? Not in 2025. If the timing is unfortunate that we have this such a good Star Wars show, and it's about 6 years too late. They've burned so much goodwill and good faith out of the fan base over the since, well, let's just go back to 2017. That it's just been diminishing returns, and it's unfortunate that they've probably are realizing their lesson now, that it's too late to maybe claim a victory for ratings. But as far as the quality of the show, I just looked up the top 100 IMDb episodes of all time ratings, and two of these three from this week's arc are in the top 100 at 9.8. And take it for what it's worth. IMDb, when somebody tells me to watch something, I'll check it out. If it's an 8.0 or better, it's really good, because there are some harsh judges on IMDb sometimes, depending on what the show or movie is. So, and it's up there with, as far as the rankings, there's one episode that's ranked a 10, and it's a Breaking Bad episode.
Yeah.
And there are a few other Breaking Bad and Better Call Sauls in there, and some other shows that we all like. So I don't think it's a coincidence that this show's good. Things I really did love about it, I would consider this week's arc is the real, to use a Christian metaphor, a Jesus metaphor, this is the salt of the earth. This is the catalyst. This is the impetus for what happens, not just in Rogue One, but what happens in the original Star Wars movie. We really get that visceral understanding of what has kicked off what's about to happen, in BBY 0.
Mm-hmm.
We really understand what has caused the rebellion in the people of the galaxy to say enough is enough, and to witness it, hear the news reports of what's happening, to see how it affects everybody, and Mon's speech, the speech she gives in the Senate, and then when we hear in Rebels, every word was given so much thought into the meaning of what she could say. Very concise, cuts you to the bone. So I really love that, because that is that's one of the cornerstones of Star Wars, is the fight against the Empire and the Emperor. And I think we really felt that this week. So that's how I feel about it. I think, and then to see things like Cyril, who's, he wants to be a part of something and make a difference, and everybody just uses him, and then he finally randomly runs into his white whale, and has the upper hand on him. He's about to pull the trigger on him, and then his white whale says, "Who are you?" That's actually the name of isn't that the title of the episode?
Yes.
Who are you?
Yeah.
And
Who
for
are
a
you?
second, he thinks, you don't even know who I am. He's starting to drop his gun, and then he gets.
What do you think was about to happen?
I think he was about to say, "You don't know who I am."
Yeah. So that whole exchange to me was diminished by the fact that, even though I thought they shot it well and I thought the "Who are you" was great, but the whole time it was going on, I'm like, well, we know Andor can't die here.
Yeah.
Right. No matter what he does to Andor here, he can't die.
Yeah. What's going to happen?
Cassian is not in danger yet.
No. But and how it ended is kind of poetic justice too for that father. I can't remember his name, but to Rylance, I think, to be the one to take him out before even Cyril realizes. The last thought in his head is, "I've caught my white whale, and he doesn't even know who I am. That sums up my life, just my luck." And out he goes. And then, so I really like that type of thing. And, Gilroy doesn't hold back when he's cutting people down. And Bix's sacrifice, I think, I didn't think she'd go that way. I didn't think that's how things would go down. I thought, the previous last week, Luthen's basically telling Andor, that she could be a liability. What are you going to do? So, you were thinking if it comes down to nut cutting time, Bix has got to go in maybe a violent way. But no, Bix made it. So, those are the things I really love about it. Again, it's a shame that this is 670.
Oh, stop encouraging him.
I'm not doing anything.
Somebody want to tell John there's a fucking mute button?
I am muting him, and he unmutes.
I don't know what John's
it's not our fault. It's Coach. I'm just saying.
I know what he's doing.
I'm not doing anything.
Matt, let me ask you this.
Lie.
Yeah. Did you notice that in these 3 episodes, Mon Mothma looked diminished. Like over the last, like the first 6, she's kind of still vibrant, but these 3 episodes, she looks sickly.
She looked very tired.
She is, yeah, she's taking this on.
Yeah, I think that was an amazing job.
She's she's at her wit's end. You know, she knows her life now. Her life is she has a target on her back, literally.
Yeah,
and
she's never had that before.
She's never had that. She's had everything in her life given to her. She had her husband given to her. She had an arranged marriage. She was born into this privileged life, this wealthy life, and you know, hidden behind the protection of the Senate.
And she's been a senator since what, she was 16 years old, right? They got
Yeah,
married
it's
early.
like,
They
you know.
moved to that apartment in Coruscant, and they've been living there.
And now
for
all
a
those
long
ties are
time.
cut. Tay's gone. Her husband and her husband and daughter are likely gone as far as, you know, ties there to them. She is cut loose and on her kind of on her own,
Coach Madeline.
and is being pressed upon. This at the lowest point in her life is actually the highest opportunity in her life to be, again, another catalyst.
Good points, Mataween.
Yeah.
Good points.
I'll hop out. Let somebody else hop in if they need to.
Yeah, appreciate you.
There's nobody else behind
You
you.
can stay now. We're good.
Yeah,
We're
I'll
good.
just mute. I'll mute myself.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Listen.
Great job.
For you.
Great job,
Yeah.
despite all the
All right,
distractions.
all right. I know who's not going with me to Katie Sackhoff next Friday.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, he'll be there without you, probably. He's
Probably.
working.
2%.
All right. Sodak Chopper is next. Go, my brother.
All right, what do you guys think I got?
Oh, right. We have to guess the score.
7.5.
I'll go with 7.
Anybody else?
What?
We'll say 6.5.
Okay.
Ted said 7.
Yeah,
Come in.
Rissman and Ted are right. I gave it 7. And I knocked it down for very simple reasons.
God bless.
The second episode dragged. It didn't pick up until like the very end. And then there's the time element. They're discussing all this stuff the next day, and Andor just got there. And he's ready to get her out of harm's way, but he got there the night before. So a lot of it's just like, is there no concept of time in this universe right now? But as far as the story goes, I thought that Cyril taking one to the dome, perfect ending for him. He wanted to go out hard, and he went out hard, but he went out like, oh wait, you don't know who I am? Bunk.
He apparently has a strangling fetish.
Yeah, he does.
That was tough.
Yeah, I was watching that. I'm like, she's
He got
only
hit in the head with
19.
a bowl of cereal. A bottle of cereal, of all things, too.
Yeah, did anyone else do the math on that? She said she was picked. Her parents were arrested when she was 3, and she grew up in the Imperial Kinder Block.
My youngest son did that.
This is only 15 years later.
Yeah. I
So
took
that
that
makes
as
her
she would have
18
been
years
very young.
old.
I think she just sees the Empire as always the Empire, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a little nitpick there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Should have called
But,
it Republic.
Yeah, she's probably raised by the Republic. But yeah, I mean, how she actually reacted to everything that happened after she said go, and then she realizes, okay, Cyril's gone. I've killed all these people.
And
What
the
did
whole
I
thing
do?
was her idea. If you remember back to the
Yeah.
Krennic meeting, she was
Yeah.
the one who said,
We
well,
got
if
to
I was
stabilize
going
it.
to do this, find locals who'll do the wrong thing. And then it all ended up being this. Can you imagine?
It's always easy when it's somebody else's decision.
Yes.
Yeah, and but I think the Mon Mothma escape, getting her out of there, and Andor not even hesitating, just pull gun, pull trigger, and he did that twice.
Yep. That
was awesome. Then I was like, okay, now it's finally picking up, and the episode's over. Aw. But yeah, I knock it down because there's a lot of stuff in it that didn't need to be in there. I was counting aliens. Didn't see too many.
The Senate. We've seen the most aliens in the Senate.
Yep. But
which
even
makes
on,
sense. I mean, they're representing all worlds all over the place. You should see.
And there were some on Yavin.
Yep.
Like every scene that you see them walking by, there'll be at least one alien in the scene. But yeah, I can see that in the sets, that's where they spent a lot of the money. I wish they would have put more into the story. Still, there's a lot of quiet stuff, and the only two intriguing characters I can see are still Lathan and Clea, or Luthen and Clea. Like, who are these people? What is their story? I know everybody else. I know how everyone else dies.
There should be a bunch of death here at the end, shouldn't there?
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll finally tell us who Luthen is. Put it into the story. Don't
Episode 10.
The end.
Episode
we
10
have to see him. You don't think we'll see Luthen die?
I think we'll see Clea die first.
And so this is a great question. Just because they don't appear anywhere else, does it mean they're dead, or does it mean they just didn't appear anywhere else? I don't.
There you go. Everybody hopes everybody dies, and they never do.
They already foreshadowed his death, though. I think he dies.
I think Luthen is the most likely to die, just because on Coach's point, his monologue, I'm never going to see the end of this. And same thing Saul Guerrero said. Of course, Saul makes it a little bit longer because we see him again, right? But if everyone's expecting that before it's over, Luthen, Clea, Wilmon, Vel, I mean, if we're expecting all of the main Rebel characters that we've seen to die just because they weren't visually present in Rogue One, I personally don't think that's going to happen.
I think we were ruined by Game of Thrones. Don't get attached to this character. They're a good character. Or Walking Dead. Oh, this one's getting a conscience.
And just because Bix left in this episode, I don't necessarily think it means that they never see each other again in the next 3 episodes.
I think there could be a possibility of her showing back up.
Do you
maybe
think
pregnant, maybe not, but she might die.
Do you think there'll be a prologue at the very end?
I think that the second half, I think that episode 12 is split up into 2 parts. So it's like 10, 11, and half of 12. And then I think half of 12 is like an epilogue.
Yeah.
Epilogue, yeah, I'm sorry. Epilogue, yeah.
It's good.
But I think overall on the series, I'm still at a 7, but definitely that last episode, that brought up everything else to a higher value.
Awesome.
Just with the costuming, the makeup work, I'm not a big fan of changing out actors when that actor is actually there. But I think Ben Bratt did a really good job. And he carried that character's anger in that moment very well.
And it's funny on this one because they said, of course, Jimmy Smits wasn't available. That's what they said. Either he wasn't available or they couldn't pay him enough or whatever. And then,
money.
And then Benjamin Bratt was interviewed, and he was like, I was filming something in New Zealand. He said, so I went back and forth from UK to New Zealand quite a few times while all this was going on because I wanted to be in this so badly, and it was such an honor to play this character. So I'm like, well, that's cool for Ben Bratt, but you're thinking about, well, Smits couldn't show up, but Benjamin Bratt was commuting back and forth between New Zealand. I thought that was kind of interesting.
He better had a good, and I guarantee you the reason was the money.
I don't know what Jimmy Smith is up to these days. So, all right. Well, thank you, Sodak Chopper. Let's go to Ted's Nerd World next. Ted, you are watching. What do we think Ted scored? What do we think Ted scored?
8. He gave it an 8.
Overall,
I feel pretty confident.
Episodes,
I feel pretty confident.
I'm sitting with 8 with Coach.
I'm going to go with 5.
No way.
Yeah. Well, for Disney Star Wars,
oh boy,
it's definitely an 8. It's the best Disney Star Wars there is, I would say. But overall Star Wars, yeah, it's about a 5. It's watchable.
Dude, thank you for wearing the classic EBN shirt.
I know he's going old school.
Yeah, that's from.
I
way
buy
back.
your product.
Yeah, that's from way
That's
back.
a classic. I mean, that's when there was the first merch store, right?
Yeah,
it's laundry day, isn't it, Ted?
Of our store. That's funny.
Well, down at the bottom of the drawer.
Yeah.
It was. And I knew we were going to be doing something tonight. I was like, I'll pull this thing out.
That's awesome. So you gave it a what now?
About a 5 for overall Star Wars. It's about a 5, but it's the best Disney can do. So it's about, for Disney, it's an 8. It's up there because I think that's the best they're going to be able to do, at least for now, until they do something amazing in the future. Hopefully, I always keep my hopes up. I'm always hoping for better. They just keep disappointing me. It's inevitable. So, but yeah, they've done a great job so far. I like that Yavin base camp, like you say, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that, but I wish they would say something about Dantooine. There supposedly was an old place on Dantooine they came from. There's been no mention of Dantooine that they could have come from or that's going on anywhere. They could throw that in there. It's a good Easter egg. Come on, you want some nostalgia.
I think in Rebels, she does go to Dantooine first, right? And they hand her off to Dantooine, but what about... and then from there they go to Yavin. So
we got one more week.
Yeah, we got a little bit more time. I'm just, there's more. There's
Well,
more
she'll be
Easter
on-
eggs they could throw in. They could throw in something about the Wookiee rebellions. They're supposed to be putting down the Wookiees and enslaving Wookiees. They could be talking about, you hear background conversations. There's stupid stuff they could throw in.
The problem is they're going to skip a year ahead now, right? So there won't be any Dantooine. There won't be any Ghost. There won't be when we catch back up with Mothma in the next.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of after Rebels.
She should be in. She should be at Yavin already, and probably they'll have her dressing a lot more like the Mon Mothma that we come to expect from Rogue One.
Well, you got to figure, she's on the run. She doesn't have access to her full wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean that's it.
Bless her heart.
That's why she always has that one white dress on. That's why she has one white dress.
That's probably had to borrow from Leia.
Leia's a white dress that she's always got in all the cartoons. Yeah, but then we get to talking about the planets. Talking about they're mining for Calkite. Is that one city the only thing on that planet? I mean, that's something Lucas was guilty of too, making a city one planet, making a planet one city. I mean, all we ever heard Naboo.
There are
the only reason was also on the rest of Naboo.
That's like the capital city.
Yeah, there were other cities. The only reason I know there are other cities is because when the news report was on, they were like, well, this happened in this city, and this happened in that city, and then this happened at the naval place.
Are they dropping mining equipment all over, or just this one city?
All over.
They really don't explain that well. I mean, it was good to see that they're actually showing the Empire doing stuff. I love seeing, them actually showing them being a little bit evil, doing some bad things.
Yeah.
Good. Give them some good bad reputation, I guess. So gives a good reason for the rebels. But yeah, why kill them all? Why not just move them off planet? I know that's a little out there.
Not very Empire.
Empire has to be bad, don't they?
Not very Empire. Relocation is not very Empire.
Imperial hubris.
So was it a massacre of just Gorman, the city of? Was that the city of Gorman? Was it the planet of Gorman?
Well, that was the city of Palmo. The capital,
that's right.
The capital of Gorman. I think the whole planet,
was it a full planet-wide.
No, I think I think allegedly the planet only has like 800,000 people on it, right? So I think the biggest concentration was in this place called Palmo.
Talking about to get all the Calkite out of there, it destroys the planet basically, and everything.
It's cheaper to kill them than it is to transport them off planet.
I mean,
sadly, sad but true.
Yeah, it was good to see. Good little bit of backstory and how they're going to be doing that. So that was cool. Fun to see. Bale, good to see Bale. Would have been nice to see Jimmy Smits, but being unavailable, probably needed a little bit more money to be more available. But he did a great job on, and I'm glad he kind of. There was a moment I kind of thought he wanted to say, he couldn't say. He had to say that he had to get back because he had other things and he's trying to protect Leia, but he didn't say Leia. And no, Leia's never been brought up yet, but wouldn't she be like a senator right now? I
don't know. When does she take over? Does she take over when Bale retires?
Well, she should be at least kind of known, but yeah, I guess but I think he says something about he can't go with her to Yavin because he has to get back to Alderaan. Because
it's not time yet. Or
he wanted
like
to. Yeah, he had things to protect on Alderaan.
We're still 2 years out from that.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. I like that. and then Cyril getting punked. Man, that was horrible. That was horrible seeing those Cyril getting punked like that.
He deserved
I
it.
thought they were going to turn him into a rebel. I thought that was going to be his arc. He was going to go bad, go against Daedra, and
I like that.
become a
It was
rebel.
unexpected. I like
And
that.
then it was just boom up to that. I was like, wow. Okay.
Out you go.
Okay.
Now the question is, what's Daedra going to do?
Yeah.
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 And then,
She's going
and
to
then we
crash
get-
out.
She's rocked.
and then
They'll
we get
probably
to
give
the
her a job.
K2.
They'll probably give her a job on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Does she die in the next arc? I think so.
Ooh. Yeah. And then
Doesn't
K2
work
I would
Human
rather they
resources.
give her a job on the Death Star, and we're left to believe she dies with the rest of them when when they blow up the
She's
Death
going to
Star.
show up at Yavin base
She's
at
gonna be-
Mon Mothma's rave room.
Yeah.
Maybe
We got
Cyril's
dance-
mom
do
is
another dance number.
maybe Cyril's mom is getting back at her.
Maybe they're gonna. Maybe Cyril's mom moves in, right?
Oh.
She takes the
Oh,
mother-in-law,
yeah.
moves her in.
Well,
That's worse
she
than
has,
death. That's worse than
That'd
death.
be bad.
she has
Yeah.
a certain influence and certain connections.
Uh-huh.
So maybe she's
You never
planning
know.
some kind of
Yeah,
revenge.
Uncle Otto.
You never know.
There was a teaser spot that we haven't seen yet that shows Daedra in Luthen's shop with her with her blaster drawn as though she's there to arrest him or kill him, or for all we know he's not there, right? But she figures it out. But there is a shot yet of her in the shop. So whatever's in store for her, she doesn't turn just yet. If people are thinking she all of a sudden becomes good, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm looking forward to it. I think the next few episodes are going to be awesome. I really liked Rogue One, so I'm glad they're leading up to that and keeping everything in line. K2SO coming in. I really thought, well, I mean, we can't really tell from that last line at the very end because of the K2SO talking, but I really thought they were going to put B2 EMO or,
B2
that guy
EMO.
in there. Yeah.
A lot of people did.
B2 EMO in there, but I guess not. I guess he's just going to be him.
They just abandoned B2. He's
Whatever.
worthless.
What happened to him? What happened to Cassian's sister? What happened to? I don't know. But anyway, I'm
Great
glad it's
writing
getting
makes you
better.
wonder.
Yep, I'm glad it's getting better. I hope they can just tighten it up a little bit, and bring it in and have a few good more episodes. So I'm always hoping for better, but I'm not
And-
surprised when it's not.
And next year is the 10th
Well said.
anniversary of Rogue One, and some of these Andor
Did
episodes.
you say
have been-
10 years? Has
Mhm.
it been that long?
And some of these Andor episodes have been finished for theatrical viewing. That was one thing that Tony did while they were spending $700 million. I guess he figured, why not? But there is a thought that maybe some part of this will play in a special screening before Rogue One. I would have to assume it would be the latter episode or the epilogue or a
Like you say,
portion
that
of a portion
second half
of the end.
episode 12, whatever it is.
Yeah, would
That'd be
screen
cool.
beforehand or something, right? So we'll,
I could see
we'll
them doing something like that, having the second half of episode 12 just being Cassian doing the, right up to Andor or right up to Rogue
Right.
One.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bro,
Great to see you, Ted.
thank you.
Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you, Ted.
All right, Patrick's next. What do we think Patrick scored? What do we think he scored these episodes?
9.
I rated the first 3 episodes 5 out
Yeah.
of 10. So
I'm gonna say 8.25.
I'm gonna say 8.75.
Yeah,
Nine.
I'll go $1, Bob. I'll say 7.5.
well, I'm Mattuine is close. Yeah. The 3 episodes within the Andor show, no, I would give 8 out of 10, but it can't be better than the worst George Lucas creation.
Yeah.
So if we take Phantom Menace, for example, and give it a 7 out of 10, it would be a 6.5 out of 10.
Now hold on. George Lucas did also create the holiday special, so
I knew someone was going to bring the holiday special up.
he did do that.
Okay. Well, what my
Howard
biggest,
the Duck.
Did he do
I
Howard
met-
the Duck?
He sure did.
Oh yeah, he did.
yeah.
There was
That's
nothing
fine.
wrong with Howard the Duck.
Oh, hell
Thank
yes,
you,
there
Robbie.
is.
Thank you.
It's not when we were 5.
Now you look at it, you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, this ain't.
2 words, Leah Thompson. Shut up.
Yeah.
That was 4 words.
So
There was a comma in there.
Shut up was implied anyway.
so I
Enough
met
said.
I met the actress playing Dedra Meru last Sunday, and I told her that
Phoebe Taylor.
Denise Gao.
Oh, sorry.
And I told her that I think that her character is the most compelling, or was the most compelling so far, but that I also think that Cyril may steal the show. Well,
You were wrong.
Boy, I was wrong.
How did she? She didn't give you any spoilers? She just thanked you.
No, she just smiled, had a big laugh, and said, "Well, watch the next 3 episodes." What did I? My biggest criticism about the show, the entire Andor show, was so far that it lacks this spark of magic that it appears as if the Force is not a thing there, and that changed in these 3 episodes. The Force healer, I really liked how they showed it. It was very subtle. First time I read about Force healing was in Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy trilogy, and it was said there that only a very few are capable of Force healing, and I think that was done very well in the show. Now, the woman may have the potential to become a Jedi, but she clearly was untrained, and I also think that she may be capable of premonitions. That's why she says that she saw something in Andor, which has not yet happened. So yeah, I really liked the fact that they show us that the Force is still a thing in this universe, in this creation of Tony Gilroy. And the other thing that I really liked were the KX droids. No blasters, no staffs, just brute force, throwing people into the ground, smashing people into walls. Yeah, that was awesome.
It was horrifying.
He just picked up that girl and just chucked her.
Throw them like they're a sack of potatoes.
And almost indestructible.
Meat bags.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing that I couldn't understand, why did he want the droid?
Strategic use out of it.
Maybe it's just as a resource for the rebellion. Maybe the memory has the base programming.
Camouflage.
Rissman has a theory that Cassian is actually distantly related to Lando, and that
this is not a theory that I have.
Stop it.
There's no L3 going on here.
I have text message proof.
No, you do.
That's where Bix went.
You do.
Yeah.
So
handy.
but that were my comments so far, and with that, I will also take my leave because I need my 3 hours of sleep.
I know it's late for you there. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I gotta go get my kid.
One last thing. I joined your Facebook group.
I accepted your request.
Thank you very much.
We are pleased to have you in there. Get ready because it is wild in there.
I saw some. Yeah.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Always an adventure. So appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming in.
All right. Well, not quite last, but definitely least, John Graber. It's your turn.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Mac I have skills.
You must have a Mac.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so what do you want me to rate it?
Oh, we have to rate what we have to say what we think.
Oh, you gave it an 11 out of 10. There ain't no doubt.
11 out of 10. I'd say John's up there at least at a 9.
Yeah, he's 9. I'm saying 9.
All right, so I will say a 7 because I will not let go of the scene.
Oh yeah.
Use of Star Wars. I won't let it go.
You won't let go of what?
The sexual assault.
Just the scene. I don't want to get you guys in trouble or whatever. Just the scene.
Whatever.
That wasn't in this arc. What does that have to do with this
I
arc?
won't let it go. I won't let it go. I will never let it go.
Okay.
No, I just and the drug use.
So okay, if you had not watched 1 through 6 and only watched 7, 8, and 9, what would you give it then?
I would give. All right.
He's easy to fool, Rissman.
I would give.
You give it a 9, puppet.
9. Wait, no, 7. Wait, I don't know. I progress. The last episode, I mean, my heart was like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The only
Okay.
thing, the only thing I would go against 9 is I'm a big fan service. I want fan service. I want to see at least the ghost at the end. I want to see at
Okay.
least the ghost.
All right.
I would have been like ecstatic.
So you're giving it a 9 out of 10 then?
Well,
As
the
a
last
sta-
episode, I
as
hear
a
you saying
standalone.
The last episode, yeah, 9 out of 10. I would like to see the ghost, otherwise I'll get a 10.
But John, what about all those rear end shots of Bix?
I didn't pay attention, Coach.
I'm shocked.
Were her pants off?
No.
Who cares?
I'm just John can be manipulated. That's all I was trying to do. That's all I was
I
trying
can
to
be
do.
bought. Yep, I'm absolutely.
I'd give it an 8 for that.
John, all right. So the last episode 9. So you're feeling a little bit better about the show.
Yes, if they would have just kept certain things out of it, I would love it. Absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hardcore. I go back to the fact it's meant for 12-year-old boys. And it's in the original trilogy was meant for 12-year-old boys. It was so good that everybody could enjoy it. It's meant for 12-year-old boys. When I watch some Star Wars, I want to go back.
Do you think all 6 of the original Lucas movies were for 12-year-old boys?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
I want the hope. I want the hero. I want the hero that's greater than me. Who you aspire to. That's what I want for 2 hours. Just give me that for 2 hours. I don't want the world. I don't want political. I don't want any of that. I want to escape for 2 hours and be a kid again for 2 hours. I'm just going to poke you, just to play devil's advocate here, because this isn't quite my response. But this is the online response you would get. So I'm going to be one of those guys. All right.
What about the 2 decapitation scenes? Is that for 12-year-olds?
I don't know. I watch. Well,
What about Charred Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru? Is that?
Oh yeah, is that for 12-year-olds? Smoke it.
That's just obey. No, I'm just talking. You know what? You poke the bear, that's what you get. No, that's a legitimate question. I never even thought about. I mean, I thought it was horrible at the time.
And what about Jabba slamming it to Leia off screen?
Well, the fact that she was chained up as a slave.
I take that.
In a bikini.
I take that with me every night, and then I do stuff to myself.
When I was 12, a chained up Leia.
I know that was a bad example too.
Yeah.
12-year-old boys probably test well on that.
I mean, 54 years old. I still think about slave Leia. I'm just saying.
Well, then of course we had Anakin killing the Tuskens. We had Anakin killing the younglings. We had Anakin choking Padme. I mean, again, we can pick and choose different things from even the George Lucas movies. That 12-year-old. I don't know.
No, I do. I will stand on it forever. But yeah, I mean, legitimate questions like Owen and Beru being burned. I really never really thought about it. Like it was like, oh, that's. I mean, I knew it was horrible, but I don't know.
John, it's not slave Leia. It's Boba Fett's. It's Boba Fett's fire spray Leia. Come on, get with the times.
Thank you.
Yes,
because we are in
the times,
more cultured world, and if I was Jabba, I would make her do bad things to me. I'm just saying.
No, she was indentured out of work, Leia, at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't like the scene. I didn't like the drug use. I just don't like it. I don't like it in Star Wars. Not at all.
Don't like death sticks.
Yeah,
you don't like the drug use.
Sticks?
Hey, Obi-Wan drank alcohol in that bar. Come on.
What about? Do you know what spice is?
I know
John?
that is the thing. That's a hook.
Star Wars is full of drugs. What are you talking about? Death sticks?
Little booger sugar?
You ever see anybody doing drugs though, except for the?
Nah, it's more implied. I think overall it's more implied.
I got to figure.
Yeah.
Jabba had a huge hookah sitting next to him.
Yeah.
He sure
Come
did.
on.
You know, everybody's got their thing. I'm not judging.
Now we get where you're coming from, John.
Thank you.
You want to preserve the innocence a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if there's certain things that bother you that you don't want to see in it, you don't have to answer for that. That's perfectly fine.
And I go back to, I think I mentioned this before, but Skeleton Crew, Megan and Zach came over. The kids came over and absolutely loved it. My grandkids are in Star Wars. I'm like, oh, this is a hook. They want to play the toys up. I mean, this we're in. I can't let them watch Andor. Not
I should hope not. It's not for them.
Not a chance. And people are like, well, it's rated. I don't care. It's still Star Wars.
Do you think they'd even watch it? Probably not.
Well, they were. I mean, really wound up about Skeleton Crew. I mean, still to this day we watch it once in a while.
Yeah, but there's a lot more going on there.
But yeah, I can't.
If you need nap time for those kids, put in Andor, episode 1.
Oh,
well, after the Bronco.
Maybe after the week before last. Well, it was a long day anyway, and I fell asleep during the first episode, and I had to rewatch it.
Yeah, Debbie's yelling at you. It's not meant for kids, John.
No, but it's Star Wars. It is meant for kids.
Is it Star Wars, John? Is it?
See, that's the question. I don't know. I do enjoy it, but it's meant for 12-year-old kids, boys. It's meant for 12-year-old boys. It was so good, that everybody could enjoy it. And I'll stand on that as long as I live. Which maybe not too much longer, I'm just saying.
Oh, no. Not at this rate, anyway.
I like this. Andor is Star Wars After Dark.
And then people that like, oh, I want a horror Star Wars movie. No, that's not Star Wars.
Dude, I would totally watch like a group of 10 K2 droid assassins.
It's not Star Wars.
Just killing everybody.
Nope, not Star Wars.
I read a short story about zombie stormtroopers. That was awesome.
Did I write it?
I mean, did they not have those in Ahsoka season 1?
Yeah, they kind of.
I didn't like that.
Use that, yeah.
You don't like the witches?
I didn't like
you don't
that.
like the power of many, John?
Magic.
The power of money.
Yeah,
Fart powered armor.
Zombie guy or whatever, but yeah, that turned me off. The zombie thing. I didn't like it.
Oh, I know, Debbie. I know.
We love you, Debbie.
All right, John. Anything else?
Yeah,
Anything
I don't love Debbie because she's not showing up at ICCCC.
Oh, she's not?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not either. I don't care about me, though.
What I would pay for you to go if you want. I told you that.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, John, any other thoughts before we go to Valiant?
Yeah, I want to know who that Valiant Renegade guy is. Who's that guy?
He's about to tell you.
All right.
Sup?
Oh, I
Hey.
thought
Hey,
he
Valiant.
muted you. We didn't know. He mutes me. Just saying.
You deserve it. You're so distracting. Lord.
Story of my life.
How did Risman and I get on the same side of this? Yeah,
The side of reason.
Yeah, that's true.
You're really liking this?
What?
No,
Show?
he meant John. He meant me muting John.
No,
Okay.
I meant John.
Talking about Andor.
I haven't, my position on
Thanks,
Andor has
Valiant.
not
Whatever.
changed from the first season. I haven't watched an episode. Couldn't tell you.
A whole lot of people haven't.
I exactly. That's the bottom line for it.
Yeah.
It's you've got an audience of about 2.5 million people a week domestically, from as best we can tell from the Illuminate data. I mean, it's consistent. It didn't chart the first week it was out, which was shockingly awful. It couldn't make the top 10, and it was one of the weakest, most pathetic top 10s I've seen on Illuminate in terms of the shows that were in the top 10 and the minutes watched that they had. Very, very low numbers. I mean, it was about the easiest week to get into the top 10 as you could imagine. Disney drops 2.5 hours, 157 minutes, I think, to be exact, in the first week. Roughly the same, I believe, in the second week. Didn't chart at all in the first week. The 10th place show that week was 280 million minutes viewed. Basically, all Andor had to do Tuesday night, all day Wednesday, and all day Thursday was get 1.8 million people to turn it on and watch it in North America. Didn't happen. That's all they needed. And I said, it's almost guaranteed in the second week it's out, it's going to chart, because then they'll have over 5 hours of content.
Yeah.
It seems almost impossible that it won't chart. It charted, right? it showed up in the second week, and I said, when that happens, then we'll be able to see just where it was in the previous week, because they always show you previous week numbers. So we saw the previous week numbers because it charted in the second week with 480 million minutes. A lot of bleed over from the first week, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7 of the first 3 episodes drop. And then day 1, day 2, day 3 of the second episodes 4 through 6 drop, right? So combined, you had about, I think it was maybe 700 million minutes. You start running the math on that, and you were averaging, you got about 2.5 million people or so there, about less than 3 million tuning in North America. That's really problematic when you spend $400 million to shoot a season of a show. And there's no other television show save for Rings of Power out there that is dropping this kind of money that we are aware of. There was an article a few weeks ago talking about 1923, right? One of the Taylor Sheridan Yellowstone connected properties. And they were talking about, oh man, Paramount rolled out the red carpet. We had a $150 million budget for that show.
Wow.
Bruh. 1923 in its finale week pulled in over 25 million viewers in North America, 10 times what Andor did for roughly 1/3 the cost. And this is the problem. You got Paramount Plus that has 100 million fewer subscribers than Disney Plus and Hulu does. It's a much smaller streamer from that standpoint. But every show it puts out, Landman was pulling in at one point, I think it was peaking around 20 million viewers a week with Billy Bob Thornton. You have Mobland right now, which is on Paramount Plus with Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hardy, Helen Mirren, and Patty Considine. Yeah. Fantastic show. Biggest original property that has premiered on Paramount Plus. They're now averaging easily 10 to 12 million people every week tuning in on a Sunday when it drops. I mean, it's a freaking awesome show. If you've ever wanted to see James Bond, Pierce Brosnan as an Irish mob boss, freaking so good. Him and Tom Hardy, and Helen Mirren is evil as all hell in this show. It's a great show. But this is the kind of thing. People are making appointment viewing for these properties. You've got these streaming services that are a fraction the size and notoriety of the properties that are on or have no notoriety whatsoever, like Mobland. It's just a show that they made, and it's really good. Doesn't have Star Wars in front of it, doesn't have Marvel in front of it, and they're not spending $200-400 million like The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew and Secret Invasion and all this other stuff and blah, 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 blah. Disney is pulling in a fraction of these audiences, and to the point here, you guys have all said this, you got a show like Andor that you guys are all enjoying, or maybe not everybody, but it seems like most people that are watching Andor, that are Star Wars fans, are enjoying it because obviously the period that it takes place in, it's part of that early rebellion. It's leading up to the Skywalker, that second piece of it with Luke coming in, and it ties into Rogue One, which is a movie that most of us, even that hate the Disney crap, we actually kind of enjoyed, at least to some degree. Problem is nobody cares. People have checked. The normies are gone. And it's not just, it's Marvel too, obviously. Yeah. I said it the other day. We looked at the numbers. We went back and reminded folks that Disney spent $1.3 billion with a B dollars to shoot Infinity War and Endgame. Production only, $1.3 billion for those two movies. What do you think Doomsday is going to cost? That's going to be likely, I'm betting, it's going to be one of the first movies, if not the first movie, that is absolutely going to need over $2 billion at the box office just to think about breaking even. Does anybody think that's going to happen with $400 million to Captain Falcon? Probably 350 to 375 million to Thunderbolts. Fantastic Four is probably going to flop this summer because, again, nobody cares. This is the problem with Marvel, with Star Wars, with a lot of these big Disney major IPs, is that they're going out and who was that comedian the other day that made that Nate, what's his name, that made the comment about the guy that runs Disney? Didn't say Bob Iger, but he said Disney's boss or Disney's CEO. The guy that runs Disney doesn't care about the audience. He's right. They kind of don't. the biggest thing for Bob, you look at what they tout about Star Wars and Marvel shows. Look at what Bob just said about Thunderbolts yesterday on the earnings call. Well, you know, he made this. He did the Star Wars thing again, guys. In case you didn't hear it, remember when Iger came out and said, "Well, you know, Solo flopped because we made too much Star Wars too quickly." Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Okay. He did the same thing with Marvel. We had Marvel doing way too much stuff, and the quality slipped off.
Fatigue.
Yeah. Well, not fatigue. He
Quality.
said the quality because Kevin Feige and the Marvel team could not produce quality because he had them making so much stuff, which of course is ridiculous.
He called it Star Wars fatigue.
Oh yeah, Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars fatigue. We made too much too quick. But he tried to make that same excuse for Marvel, and he said the Thunderbolts. He's actually said this during the earnings call, which we just almost burst out laughing. That Thunderbolts was the first movie, the best movie they've done in years, and that's the example of them pulling Kevin Feige and his team back to focus on good movies now. And Thunderbolts is the first example of that. Basically threw Captain Falcon under the bus. Everything else from the last few phases under the bus. And Thunderbolts, of course, is not going to really do all that well in theaters from what it seems like as of right now. Now, that could change. It could get better. But it doesn't seem like it. Star Wars kind of suffering from the same thing. And you finally got, when it sounds like an actually good show with Andor, but the normies, just like for audience, the normies have checked out. And if you don't have the normies anymore, you cannot afford to spend $200-400 million on a production if the normies ain't showing up time after time after time after time after time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the problem with the show. And I just basically came by to say hi because I hadn't seen you guys in a while, so I didn't really have anything to say about
So,
it.
Valiant, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Well, you saw the viewing numbers anyway. What do you think of them not stringing Andor out for 12 weeks for subscriptions? Are they looking for viewer numbers doing 3
Yes,
episodes?
they were trying to bang their way up the Luminate chart. They
So that didn't happen,
completely they failed. They completely failed. Stringing it out for 12 weeks for subscriptions was not going to do them any favors, clearly, because they're dropping 3 episodes a week and nobody's signing up to watch this thing. Okay, the people that are, and I mean, if they are the churn folks, meaning that they're the folks that'll sign up for Disney Plus for a month or two to catch the new fill in the blank entry. It might be a Marvel show, might be a Star Wars show, right? They sign up, I'll watch The Acolyte, dump it. Sign up again, maybe watch Skeleton Crew, once that finishes, dump it. I got people still telling me in chat, oh, just wait till all the episodes drop. Then the audience is going to show up and binge it at one time. I've heard this about a dozen times with shows like this on Disney Plus, and guess what, kids? It never freaking happens. Not once, not ever. It has never ever happened.
Okay, I have a follow-up question then.
Yeah.
You're the CEO of Disney. What do you go from here right now? Where do you go?
What do you mean, where do I go?
Do you do any more streaming? Do you do just all?
No, that's why they're
movies?
canceling it all. Why do you think that we just had a Star Wars celebration in Japan and nothing was announced? Literally nothing. All you got was
they announced something. Nobody even believes it.
No. It doesn't matter. All they announced for Disney Plus was some cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
No, they announced the Ryan Gosling movie. They even brought him out.
No. Movie. We're talking about Disney Plus. Talking about streaming. Yeah. They announced Visions, which is a very low budget, low cost anime licensing that they hand out, which was good. I liked Visions the first season. I thought that was one of the best things that was produced. And it's because Lucasfilm basically had nothing to do with the damn thing. They let a bunch of actual talented Japanese animation studios go to work on it, and they need to do more of that. If they turned Star Wars over to Studio Ghibli or somebody else, I'd probably be thrilled and just let them go to town on it. And then they announced a couple of other, Filoni entries and all this, but all you got live action-wise is what? Ahsoka Season 2, which was already pegged long before we got the Star Wars Celebration. That was a done deal. Were any other live action shows, new shows, or seasons of anything else announced? No.
Just
you know
animated
why?
stuff.
Because they're not doing anymore. and they're not doing any more Marvel either. The stuff that we're hearing about now, like Ironheart has been out there now for several years. Hawkeye season 2 was already greenlit. A lot of this stuff they already had set up. They are either going to completely cancel all this stuff, right? Because nobody's watching it on Disney Plus. If Disney Plus never made another Star Wars show or another Marvel show, the change in terms of viewership and revenue to Disney Plus would be barely measurable.
But that's their bread and butter, right? Or as they thought.
What is their bread and butter?
Star Wars and Marvel for Disney Plus.
No.
That's what they thought.
They thought it could be, but it never was. Mando season 1, Mando season 2, Loki season 1, those were your 3 biggest shows, and that's when Disney Plus had far fewer subs than they have today. Everything else has been radically downhill. What's keeping Disney Plus afloat is Bluey, and then kids using it as a digital babysitter, and then they migrate over to other like Pixar animated catalog stuff, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse catalog kind of stuff. That's it. That's where the viewership on Disney Plus is coming from.
And Mako Mermaid. Don't forget Mako Mermaids.
Valiant, what was the peak in season viewership for Mandalorian? Let's count 1 and 2.
I don't remember the numbers. It's been so many years, but I do remember that by the time we got to 2023, midway through 2023, we were looking back at 2019 when Mando debuted, 2020 season 2, the Christmas of 2020 when Luke Skywalker showed up, and all that. That was peak.
That's high watermark.
That was the absolute biggest high watermarks.
You had the most normies, as you say, invested in this, but like going back to my point earlier, they've burned so much good faith since then.
Yeah, they've checked out.
And I think, going back to the Yellowstone and Taylor Sheridan IPs, I think there's a broader demographic to appeal to there. You got their husbands and wives that watch that, just the people who aren't necessarily Star Wars fans.
People
There's
with
probably
good
a Venn
taste.
diagram of Star Wars fans in Yellowstone, but
they're good shows.
They are good
great
shows,
writing.
and they haven't burned the good faith of their fans.
Well, it's hard to. Here's the thing.
Taylor Sheridan's not woke.
The fan base it's not the same. It's not a 4-year fan base dedicated to an IP that has done $20 billion of merchandising sales. It's a TV show. That's it. It's Yellowstone. It's the network of it. Other things. The thing is, people follow Taylor Sheridan because he's a really freaking talented dude. And everything that he touches is pretty much
his Americana. It resonates with so many people. And again, the platforms that carry them are not necessarily doing anything in those shows to piss that base off.
Well, it's not even that. It's just people will tune in for a good show. When I saw, oh my God, you're going to give me Sylvester Stallone as a mob boss in Tulsa.
I heard that's really good.
This is crazy. Oh, that show's freaking awesome. I started watching it the first time it debuted, season 1. It's appointment viewing for me, like a lot of people. I mean, it's all those Paramount shows are appointment viewing, and that's what they know they've got. They're still treating it like they're running a broadcast television station on Paramount Plus. And they're handing the audience some really solid gold stuff that Paramount had their earnings. I've done 4 live streams in the past 48 hours 36 hours, something like that. We had Disney earnings call yesterday morning, had my regular Wednesday live show last night. And then this morning at 7 a.m., Warner Brothers. Today at 3 p.m., Paramount. So it's bang, 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 bang. And I've gone through all these earnings. I'm sitting here doing the AMC Theaters one right now. Bad news for Disney on this one. And I mean, you look at, Paramount, they're on an earnings call bragging about, the subscriber growth they're getting and the engagement from viewers. Paramount is quickly becoming, I would say, the second place streamer behind Netflix when it comes to people going on there and hanging around and shopping. They don't do that on Disney. They don't even really do that much on Hulu, although Hulu is in a much better position, which is why Disney wanted to spend so much money to get it. And Comcast is thanking them for it because that $15 billion or whatever Disney paid them, that's what built Epic Universe. So it's so good. But I mean, you look at the stuff on Hulu, and what's really moving on Hulu is all the stuff that Disney bought from Fox, and they've been wise enough up to this point to leave the Fox people alone and let them keep making shows like Shogun, Only Murders in the Building, and all this kind of stuff that's really popular on Hulu and some of these other ones. Unfortunately, if we know Disney's history, there will come a time where they will screw that up. I don't know if it'll be next year or 5 years from now or 10 years from now or never, but probably will happen. But it's a shame because like I said, back to Andor, I mean, a lot of people like it, but the audience just ain't there. And I said it after the first season, same thing, same story, different year. It doesn't matter how much you like the show or how much the audience likes the show. If there's not enough of you to justify the budget, there's no other company out there, Paramount, Warner Brothers, nobody else would have proceeded with season 2 for Andor. Not a soul. Because they frankly couldn't have afforded it. And I told a story today during the earnings call for Paramount. One of the shows I loved the most in the earlier days of Netflix was a show called Marco Polo with Benedict Wong. He played Kublai Khan. Absolutely freaking amazing show. The writing, the production, the sets, everything was gorgeous. And it was such a good show. They killed it after season 2. They left it on a cliffhanger right before this giant war was about to break out, and they canceled the show, and I could not have been more pissed. But Netflix said, we loved it too, but we simply did not have the audience to justify the costs associated with such a massive scale production. Mm-hmm. It was heartbreaking, but it was the correct business decision. Disney and Bob Iger are more interested in chasing the accolades, right? They want the Hollywood cocktail parties to love them, talk about how brave and bold they were for the show. What did we learn about? Y'all were talking about this earlier. Do I care that they, does it bother me that they had an Imperial officer? Because I watched the scene because I wanted to put it in context so I could talk about it. Did it bug me that an Imperial officer tried to, do an assault on a female rebel? No, because that would kind of make sense for him. The problem I had with the scene, just like the whole gay thing in the second week, is that Disney had very clearly preset a marketing and PR campaign around those scenes. What was everybody talking about the next day? What was the interview that had already been prepared for the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline and everybody else? It was about that scene, they said he tried to R-word me. That was the headline. This was the first debut of Andor, and this is what everybody was talking about. Disney wanted to put that out there in the Hollywood media as we went there with Star Wars. That's what pissed me off.
I think topics like that are prerequisites, non-starters for any future content, movie or
but
streaming.
That's what Disney chose to build the PR for the show around. Yeah. They chose to do that. Okay. And then in the second week, it was about the lesbian stuff. Gay kiss thing. They had articles everywhere and with interviews with the stars, and that's what makes it. It wasn't just a write-up. It was they had interviews. We had this conversation, and they had that interview ready to go to publish the next morning. That was all pre-set up by Disney because that's what they were interested in making the PR focus on Andor about.
Just like the Empire.
They did it. That's what they chose to market it around, and that's where I got irritated. That's like it's another one of these damn things. You have to draw attention to the crap in the show that doesn't matter because you want to score virtue signaling points at a Hollywood cocktail party.
Right. So I have one more question for you, and I'll shut up. Mm-hmm. Do you blame, on a whole?
Hey, seriously, hang on. This is the last question. Because I got to go to bed.
Okay. We have a lot of super chats we have to clear too. So,
do you blame Bob Iger as a CEO? Do you blame the board, or do you blame the investors for not making more of a noise for the direction?
Everybody screwed this pooch. Right. Yeah.
All right. Great questions. Great answers from Valiant. Guys, we're going to go around and let everybody kind of say where people can find you and what you got going on, and then we're going to close out these super chats and we're going to wrap it up. So, Matt Dwayne, where can people find you? What you got going on, buddy?
You can find me on Kentucky Lake with a rod in my hand this weekend.
Nice. Sounds amazing.
Awesome.
Sounds great. All right. Ted?
Yep. Over on my channel, just still watching Star Wars fan films and playing some video games. Come on by and check it out.
Very good, sir.
Ted, are you playing Final Fantasy VII
Oh,
Remake by any chance?
No more questions.
No,
Kristen.
but Matt Cave is right now.
Matt
and
Cave,
Nick
yeah,
is over
Matt
there.
Cave Gamming. He's doing it right now.
And Nick is over there. I'm sitting here watching him on another monitor.
No, Nick's over there. I'm sure he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, of course he is. He's not on his show. He's watching Matt Cave.
Yeah.
Graver.
All right, on a serious note, I know I am a struggling pastor, but if anybody's going to ICC, I am preaching Sunday morning at ICC, and it's a great privilege. I'm so excited to do it, and please don't judge me by drinking. I struggle.
Coach will be there.
We all struggle.
No, he will not. If I were there, I would definitely attend.
I am really looking forward to it. I'm pretty much done with it. I'm really looking forward to it.
And
Awesome.
also, all kidding aside, John Graber's channel, it will be streaming. So for folks who can't make it, Sunday, the whatever day it is, what, the 17th?
Probably
Sunday,
be the
8:30,
most
that's fine.
normal stream that's ever happened on that channel.
Watch for it on John's channel.
Yep. Very good, sir. Very good. Valiant.
We'll be back at it Sunday afternoon. Regular time for the live show, 5 p.m. Central on my channel. And I'm going to call you. I didn't bug you this time when I ran up to Chattanooga this past weekend because I know you were probably finishing up school, but I think I should be driving back up there sometime during the summer. This time I'm going to come find you.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Give
He'll
me
be
a
on
couple.
the fence somewhere.
Give me I don't know. Let me take you somewhere to eat and hang out for a little bit. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let me know. I'm busy early summer, but after the first 2 weeks, I'm wide open.
It'll probably be later. I thought about going up to the thing in Knoxville in July, but I don't know if I'm going to make that one. But at some point, summer, I'm going to try to get back up there because I got some other business stuff to do up there.
Very good.
Chattanooga. Yeah.
Very good. Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all very much for being here. We're going to go ahead and let y'all hit the exit, and Rissman and I will go through the super chats, member chats, and we will see you guys later. See you guys.
Bye.
All right. Ted's Nerd World. Congratulations. Your series is being rescued, K2SO. Thank you, Ted. The C-Man with a $5 super chat. The wedding needed to get cut anyway or way down in the early episodes. Plus, they spend too much time and money on those scenes. Rest has been great. So a lot of people are feeling that way. Scott Westbrook gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. Thank you so much, Scott. That's a lot of gifted memberships tonight. Welcome aboard to all the new people. Please give Scott a big thank you. And everybody else, like Staccato DDS, Donna Hergenrether, everybody, T-Rex, everybody that gifted a membership. Thank you guys so much. Blazer Hulk Darren, I'll be binge watching it next week when I get the chance. Awesome. I hope that you enjoy it.
Be a long binge.
Dan Crane, a member for 39 months. Hail to y'all, EBN, only the best for 39 months. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you, brother. That's awesome. Zombie Box Reviews with a $1.99 super sticker.
What was it? I don't even remember.
Well, I can't see the sticker, but the new image.
Oh, yes.
With the sparrow on the head
Yeah,
and all the cigarettes coming out of her
amazing.
mouth.
I saw that earlier. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've been seeing Zombies chat tonight on fire.
It's amazing.
On fire. Getting it done. Getting it done. And yes, Zombie is the only one that can drag me through the mud here. Okay, everybody else is getting blocked. Ma Ecolite, oh noes, $5. Andor's become too misogynist for me. I was expecting to hear K2SO's pronouns. Mon Mothma should have took Andor's gun and lecture him on gun control.
I love this account. I don't know who's behind this account.
Oh, me either, but it's great.
I love them.
It is great. It's a great one. No doubt about it. And then GraphWeb with a $2 super chat. # cancel Disney Plus. The most consistent man on the YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Our hero who fights for us every day. GraphWeb. Great show tonight. Thanks to all the members for popping in and sharing. Really enjoyed having you guys jump in here and give your thoughts on Andor. A lot of people were like, this was a much better week in Star Wars land there's a lot of happier fans this week, and we don't get that very often these days. So that was kind of a nice thing, So maybe next week will be the same, and then we'll find some other things to talk about with you guys over the next year. And, we'll get back to split the show up between what's happening in Star Wars, but we're talking about everything else too. Yeah. We'll get back to that kind of on our live streams, and I can't wait for that. Kind of like that 25-minute long conversation I had about Transformers today with a 16-year-old.
How awesome was that?
Loved it. Loved every second of it. So anyways, guys, thank you all for being here. And Nick says that he will be streaming tomorrow for the EBN cast.
Really? 2 o'clock
It's
Central.
It's always a crapshoot. So,
okay.
But be on the lookout.
Yeah,
and as we always say here,
he showed up, so you never know.
You never know. We are Echo Base Network, and I will see you guys on the next one.
Take care, everyone.
Coach Nick from Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.
This video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.